I had too much coffee before filming this video. Can you tell? Hi guys, so today I'm gonna be doing a holiday reads wrap up. If you guys didn't know, I got back from Croatia like a week ago. I was there for about 10 days or something, and it was really cool. We had such beautiful weather, and there's actually a vlog on that on my vlog channel, so you should go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. But today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read while I was there. I didn't actually read as many as I thought I would because I spent more time swimming and like chatting with my family than reading. But I did get through a few, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. The first book I finished while I was on holiday. It was actually started before then, but I finished it, so it counts. Ist wieder da by Timo Vermes. This is called Look Who's Back, I think. Now I got it, because last time I didn't remember the name in English. Look Who's Back by Timo Vermes is a book about Hitler who just appears in the year 2011 basically, and he's very confused as to what has happened, how he has traveled through time or something like that. And basically it's about him trying to regain control of the country. But the thing is that the people that he meets believe that he is just like an imposter, basically, like a comedian who's pretending to be Hitler and who's just doing a very good job at it. Method acting is what they keep calling it a lot in the book, and they don't really take him seriously, but they do give him his own TV show, and he does surprisingly well, and it's just such a hilarious book. You wouldn't honestly think that a book about Hitler can be this funny. And I don't know how it is. I read it in German, as you can see, so I don't really know how well the humor translates, both culturally and literally. Like, I don't really think that a lot of these things you could actually properly translate to English, and then also maybe if you haven't grown up in like the German hemisphere, this won't be that funny to you. I thought it was really well done, both handling the subject with enough grace, but also not, you know, overly hiding anything, if that makes sense. Basically this book kind of depicts Hitler as like a human being, and I had my dad is actually currently reading and he's really interested in it, and he's saying that a lot of the things that are said about Hitler, like about his personality and stuff like that, are really factual actually, so because he knows a lot about that type of stuff. He says that like a lot of them are factual, and that the satire of it is really true. Like the way that he's talking is formulated very much after how Hitler actually talked. So it's obviously kind of like gives you an ambivalent feeling when you find yourself laughing at something that Hitler says. But I think it's also really important to like deal with your history, and I think that Germany and German-speaking countries have done a pretty good job of that, and that humor is a very good way of doing that anyway. And I really appreciate this book, and I definitely recommend it to any of you who are interested in this subject. It's also very critical of German current society, which I love, and which a lot of those things apply to Austria as well, so that's why I like, you know, found it also really funny. It is just like such an absurd kind of concept, but it does it so well and like carries itself so gracefully that I just like could not help but fall in love with this book. This book has done its job, and I thought it was fantastic. The next book, why is there a bug in my face? Go away. Blah. The next book I read was Warrior Witch by Danielle L. Jensen. I had been like anticipating this book for so long because I was in love with Soul and Songbird from the second that I picked it up, and this is the third and final book in this trilogy, and it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was my favorite of the trilogy. I really actually enjoyed this ending, even though a lot of people were very critical about it, and I get why it has a certain controversial factor. But especially after reading Danielle L. Jensen's like commentary on her own ending, like about the controversy, like she wrote a blog post about it, and especially after reading her own like thoughts on it, I realized that it only made sense to end this book in this particular way, and that anything else would have been like not satisfying. So I think it was great. It wasn't, you know, anything spectacular, and I definitely don't think that anything that either book 2 or book 3 could have ever replaced book 1 for me in like terms of how amazing it was or lived up to that standard, but that's okay. It's still a good series and I still recommend it. Next book I read is a pretty big one. This is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, book 3 again of the Remnant Chronicles. So this was like a week of finishing trilogies for me. As you can see, this book is enormous. Oh my god, there's a bug by my camera. I hope it doesn't fly into the actual picture. That would be very, very annoying. Sorry about that. This book is close to 700 pages and I'm pretty sure that's too much. Like for me, this kind of dragged on eventually, but overall I still enjoyed it. I thought besides the ending, which is kind of like weird and like left everything sort of hanging a little bit and didn't really resolve anything, I thought it was okay. I liked it better than book 2. That much is for sure. But there was a lot of like random pairing off of characters which I absolutely hated so much. Especially if you have like a love triangle, not spoiling anything, but if you have a love triangle and then obviously the girl ends up with one of the two. The author feels sorry, I guess, for the one who's left out and just randomly pairs him up with like a complete random person. Like, why? That is not necessary. And also, newsflash, not every character in a book has to end up with somebody in a relationship at the end of the series. It's totally fine if they're single. Believe me, it's totally fine. I promise you nothing bad is gonna happen, even if they don't find the love of their life within like 3 pages just so they have somebody. Jesus Christ. Nothing much annoys me more than that. So, yes. And then lastly, the last book I read on holiday is sort of a cheat because I didn't actually finish it yet. Dun dun dun! Oh my god. I know that this has no place in a wrap-up if I haven't finished it yet, but I'm literally like 20 pages at the end and I don't really want to wait. So, this is Imprudence by Gail Carriger, book 2 of the Custard Protocol series, and I picked up this book on the day that we left and we were driving to Croatia and back, so it took us like 12 hours to get there and back, and then I read like 99% of this book that day, which is like over a week ago, and then just like left it and didn't finish it because I was playing too much World of Warcraft, but that is a different story. Anyway, I want to include this book because I basically read it on holiday and almost finished it, so fight me. Anyway, you probably saw me haul this book pretty recently, so I won't talk too much about it, but it was really fun. I enjoyed it. I love Gail Carriger's humor. I think her books are special in terms of her wittiness, which is the best part. I honestly think like the story itself is also fun, but it doesn't carry the book as much as the wittiness does and the humor does and just like the language does for me personally. So that's the main reason I keep coming back to this author. It's not so much that the story is super like epic or, you know, mind-blowing or innovative or anything, but it's just fun. And then there's the words that she uses and like how she plays with words, and that's for me the best part about this. So I definitely enjoyed this book. I hope the ending is also good because I actually know I haven't reached that part yet, but there's a huge ship that is hopefully gonna reach the harbor soon. Please, I want it to happen so bad. And I'm pretty sure everybody does. And then while we're already on the topic of cheating, I want to include the books that I read between my last wrap-up video and this one, or like, and the holidays basically. So I have 4 things, that's 8, but just ignore one hand. 4 things to show you for this section of the video. The first 2 are graphic novels. One is Saga Volume 6, which doesn't actually belong to me. My boyfriend bought it, but I sort of stole it from him. I asked if I could put it with my books because I have Saga volumes 1 through 5 and I'm a completionist, I want everything, and I was like, I'm gonna purchase this again, and he was like, you can have it, and then I was like, no, I don't want to steal it from you, so now it's just on loan as part of my collection. So, you know, if we ever break up, I have to buy a new one. But anyway, I enjoyed this saga. I don't really have ever anything really bad to say about it. I love the story. The only thing is that it's kind of gotten to the point where I feel like story and plot elements just kind of keep repeating themselves, and like things happen that don't necessarily have any impact on the overall story as much, because they like make something happen and then immediately resolve the situation, or they like make a time jump to resolve the situation, but then it's like, where's the suspense? What was this for? What was the point, basically? So this is like, you know, a little bit of a like step down from previous volumes, but it's still so high up in the sky that I don't actually care. I'm just a saga lover. I don't really, you know, not that critical of it, I guess. The second graphic novel is The Wicked and the Divine, Commercial Suicide. I think this is volume 3, and there is a few issues in general that I have with The Wicked and the Divine. One being that it's the most fucking complicated story ever, and it's really hard to keep up with it. There are so many names and people and events that happen, and like confusing, cryptic ways that they keep talking about things where you're like, I have no fucking idea. It's been like a year since I read the previous volume. I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please make it a little bit easier to understand and follow the story? Making things more complex doesn't always make them better, which is, I think, something that the authors of this haven't quite understood yet. And also for this volume, they took on some guest artists, which was a little bit confusing, because then some of the like episodes, I guess, are like a different style, and like none of them really live up to the original style, which is one of the cool things about the other ones. Like, I really like the art style, but for this one it was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Why is it suddenly different? I'm not a really big fan of it. I have like a sort of love-hate relationship with this series because I think the concept is so cool, and I just really want to know what happens, and like I want this one particular plot point resolved, which was like, you know, started forever ago and they still haven't addressed it, which is so annoying. But I think I will keep reading this just to see where it goes, but honestly, like, if it doesn't pick up the pace soon, I might lose my patience. And then I read 2 more books, one being Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This did not live up to the hype for me. I thought it was going to be a horror story. I thought it was going to be creepy. People were saying there are pictures in it that are so creepy and they're incorporated in the story, and yes, they're incorporated in the story, but they're not that creepy, and the story really isn't scary at all. So that was kind of a letdown. I did like the story overall. I thought it was a nice story, and I thought it was a good like coming of age even story, and I do like the protagonist somewhat. I thought it was a good idea. I thought that that was like, there's time travel and stuff like that in here. I think that that was well incorporated. Oh my god, this bug, it's back. I don't know why I lost my face so much. What is it? What is it about my face I just bug love so much? So yeah, this was not a bad story, but it was also not a particularly good one, and I don't know if I want to read the sequels because do I really want to know? Do I really need to know what happens next? I don't really think so. And finally, my favorite book, I think, out of all of the ones except for Look Who's Back. Look Who's Back was my favorite. And this is my maybe second favorite book. This was The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I picked this up because I saw the trailer to the movie and I was really intrigued, and obviously, you know, the marketing people for this know how to, you know, market it because they keep calling it the next Gone Girl, and like anything that has to do with Gone Girl in any way, shape or form, I'm like, I'm gonna check that out, you know, why not? And while this is not quite on the level of Gone Girl, it is definitely a really good thriller. I thought it was really, really cool. I blazed through this in like a day, I think, and it was just so captivating and kept misleading me. I don't know, I read some reviews on Goodreads that were saying like, oh, I knew who like the culprit was, like, or what happened, I knew I had figured out the story like so long before the ending, and there I'm like all stupid, like I had no idea until they told me. So that's actually what I want out of a thriller. I don't want to kind of guess the ending, that would be boring. I didn't think it was predictable. I thought it was very good at like setting different traps for you to think that you like figured out what was happening, but then you don't all of a sudden, and then you like doubt starts to grow and you're like, but then how are those people connected? Like, I don't know what to think anymore. And that's my favorite thing about thrillers. That's all I want out of a thriller. So I really appreciate this book a lot, loved it a lot, definitely recommend that. And that concludes my wrap up of books I read on holiday and also books I didn't read on holiday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've read any of the books that I was talking about today, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Also follow me on Goodreads if you want to read more in-depth reviews. I usually review books right after I read them, so I have a little bit more concrete stuff to say. I don't think I put spoilers in any of these, so you can just safely go and check them out. And I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye! Hi guys, so today I'm gonna be doing a book haul because I bought some books recently and I got gifted some books, and then I also just found a book that I don't think I've ever shown you.